Alright guys, I hope you're ready for the A7C II review. I've been hoping to get my hands on this for a long time, and I want you to tell me if you think it's a good purchase or not. If you get this thing for, let's say, $1,800 or less, is it worth the money? $2,200 is too much, right off the bat. I'll tell you that right now. $1,800 or less, would this be the money? Let's check it out. We're going to do a vlogging test. Obviously, you're looking at it right now on this 35mm Sony 1.8. For the vlogging test, we're going to use the Samyang 18mm 2.8 and see how that works with the image stabilization and the active turned on for Stabe. Obviously, this is going to be good enough for a YouTube studio camera. You can use the ZV-E10 Mark I for that, right? But how about everything combined? Photos, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a big photo guy, but I took some photos with it. Amazing photos. Okay, guys. A7 IV in this body is what it is. It's an A7 IV. It's got the same sensor. So you got amazing 33 megapixel photos if that's your thing. Photography is not really my thing. I just wanted to complement my ZV-E1. On my next comparison, I want to test the ZV-E1 versus the A7C II and compare the two with ISO, low light, and the video quality. And I generally shoot on S-Cinetone, but we can check out S-Log3 too. We'll check that out in the next video. For now, we're going to do a review on this A7C II, and I want to let you know if I feel that it's worth it for me, and you can know, hopefully, by the end of this video, if it's worth it for you. Let's go. All right, guys, we're doing the vlogging test here. This is the 18mm Samyang 2.8. Super light lens, super small. You wouldn't believe it. It's like really light on this A7C II. All right, so I got active Stabe on. This is active steady shot. So I got the Stabe on and then the digital crop on with the 18mm. How is this looking, guys? Right? I mean, is it too shaky? Is it usable? What do you think? I'm not walking too careful. I'm in the grass. I mean, I'm just doing what I'm doing. Obviously, this is more like a DJI Pocket 3 thing for me, but I wanted to see how it did. I wanted to see how this thing held up and to see how it was going to do in the vlogging situation. So what do you think? All right, so let's kick this down from, take the digital stabilization off and just go to IBIS and see what that does. Pretty sure it's not going to be good. All right, guys, now we're just on the IBIS, and that's it. And now I'll tell you what, this is not going to be S5 Stabe. By far is the best I've seen. This is IBIS. This is just the IBIS stabilization in the camera. So this is the walking. Now in this, if you're going to use this, it's going to be shaky. All right, guys, we're going to do a little dynamic. I just got it on auto right now. Obviously, I'm not pushing the envelope with S-Log3 and anything out here. I just want to see how the stabilization's rolling. All right, so in auto mode, this is the active Stabe. Again, how's this looking, guys? Obviously, if you're just standing still, kind of panning around, that's going to look good. Now, obviously, if you're standing still, this is probably going to be a better view as far as the stabilization. Active Stabe looks pretty good like this, but once you start walking, of course, it's not going to be S5 Stabe. I'll tell you that right now. Nothing beats that I've seen so far. All right, so let's make it difficult, right? So let's get all right, let's see it. Come back to me. Come back to me. There it goes. Now this is auto. So it's taking a little time. Taking a little time. Overexposure. Now I think you can adjust this in one of the settings, like the speed of, how it's going to adjust with the exposure, but I just wanted to kind of give this a test because this is a hard test for cameras. Pocket 3 is a rock at this, though. Like on the outside when you go from light, backlit portrait behind you, that's a rock. So, boom, boom. All right, guys, and I'm using this little Godox mic here. Looks like it's a bit loud. Okay, this is the Samyang, guys. Active stabilization. Active stabilization, just trying to test this out. Is it too shaky? Is it unusable? Is it usable? Panning. What do you think, guys? What do you think? All right. Now, let's go ahead and go back inside and see what's up. Now, I like the form factor of the A7C II. It's small. It's like the A6700. It's about the same size as that. But you're getting a full frame sensor. And I had the A6700 as well. I'm like, is it worth it to go to the full frame? And I got the FX32, right? But there's just something about full frame too. And I'm like, I don't need the 2 APS-C cameras. So let's go ahead. We'll get rid of that. We'll sell that one, and we'll move up to the A7C II. And that's what I decided to do. All right, so we're shooting on the 35 millimeter 1.8 at 1.8 on the A7C II right now. What I like about it, of course, it's got the menus. I'm not going to go through all out of specs. You guys know, right? You can go up to 30 frames per second, no crop, 60 frames per second. You got a crop. You got HD up to 120. There you go. All's good. And it's got the updated AI chip and auto framing and all that. Plus, it's got what I like is the menus. Because once you set the menus up between the function menu and the my menu, you can set them, the things that you go into the most. All in those two things, it's so much easier. So much easier. And there's also a couple custom buttons that you can set up manually for whatever you want depending on how your shooting is. Okay, boom, that aside. All right. Let's get into the actual video quality. So right now I'm shooting on S-Cinetone, right? It's got all the picture profiles of the Sony ZV-E1, which is kind of why I got this camera. I wanted to compare the two between the 33 megapixel and the 12 megapixel ZV-E1. See what the images, see if they mesh, like if they're almost identical and how that works out. But I'm going to do that in the next video. I just wanted to give you an overview of the A7C II. Con I've noticed after using it for a few days is the battery life isn't quite as good as like the ZV-E1 or the A6700 even, but I mean it's still fine, right? It'll last you a while. I always have an extra battery just in case, no matter what. Anyway, when you got 2 or 3 Sony cameras, you got extra batteries, but if you don't, get an extra battery. I have an extra battery with all my cameras. That's just a smart thing to do. I had this one plugged in via USB-C, so it keeps it powered, so you don't have to worry about that. So it goes without saying, would this camera be good for any YouTube stuff? And of course, it'll do anything you need it to do, unless you're going to shoot long-form recording for like hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. If you're not doing that, this is a great camera. But, that's when you compare it to the other ones. So would I recommend this? Absolutely, I would. Especially if you want to shoot some photography. But is it the best bang for dollar? No, it's not. It's not the best bang for dollar, but it's a great camera, right? Your best bang for dollar, ZV-E10, maybe the ZV-E10 Mark II, and then you're getting the R8, right? Because that's full frame. That's probably, as long as you can deal with the limited lens options, that's not a bad deal for full frame. But if you're just doing this, the ZV-E10 will do all you need it to do. But one of the reasons I chose this is over the 6700 is I got a good deal on this, right? And I have some APS-C lenses. If I wanted to use, the APS-C lenses on this, I could, which is basically give me an A6700 equivalent. Yet this way I've got full frame. So I can match it up with my ZV-E1 for a dual camera setup and make them match together. I don't like color grading, as you know. I'm not big into that, but I will. I could put them together and have a multicam for that. So for me, what's the other Sony full frame camera that can match the ZV-E1 right now with the AI chip and everything? You know what I mean? It's like they're kind of both made from the same mold. You know what I mean? With the AI chip and the S-Cinetone and upgraded color science. So for me, this was the right purchase. However, for you, it might not be. But if you want a full frame camera that can do it all and it's compact, and that's your big thing you want, something you want to take and travel and move around with and vlog and things like that, it's great. If you're just going to vlog, Pocket 3. I mean, those are just my recommendations. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say this will do it all. You'll never need to have a camera again. Well, it'll do it all, but you don't have to spend this much money to get this kind of quality. I mean, you can get the ZV-E10 24 frames per second. That's what I'm shooting on right now and still get great results. So I just wanted to be honest with you on that, but it's a great camera. I'll tell you that. I do like it. And I'm going to be comparing it to the ZVE1 in the next video. If you want to see that, or if you have any specific things you want to see in that comparison, then just let me know, and I'll go ahead and add that in. Of course, I'm going to do the ISO test and the vlogging test and all that, comparing against each other, just so you have that. I wouldn't really vlog with this for the most part, because the Pocket 3 for me, it just works for moving stabilization stuff. And the S5 II has better stab than this, but this is compact. So if you want all-in-one, this can do that for you. It can take pictures, you can vlog with it, and you can move around with it, because the stabilization's decent. It works good enough, but it's not S5 II and it's not Pocket 3. But it'll do what you need it to do. So it is an all-in-one if you want something compact. But these are kind of my basic thoughts on this, on the camera. It's a good camera, wonderful camera. If you have any questions and different cameras, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to get to them. Let you know if you want to compare them, and if you're kind of trying to make a decision between the two. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.